Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto content, and today we're going to actually be talking about Hedera Hashgraph by itself because it deserves to be talked about, especially now due to the fact that we have broken key support and resistance levels. And the reason why I say support levels as well is because those major support levels from previous runs where we pretty much landed on, they essentially turn into resistance levels, and we'll talk more about that as well for anybody who is new to crypto or new to charts, because at the end of the day, I know that I have people who have been in crypto for years that watch my videos, but I also know that there is a lot of new beginners to crypto, and I do want to explain to them how to really kind of see some signs regarding some charts as well. So with that being said, let's really analyze the market. So currently we are still sitting on about $2 trillion for the total global crypto market cap, up about 0.72 after today's little pullback on Bitcoin, which was roughly about $1,400. It really wasn't much, to be completely honest with you, but most alts are still outperforming Bitcoin significantly. You know, it's pretty much me being a repetitive individual right now, especially a broken record at this point, as when we're talking about XRP and even ADA, right? So, but when we come down to HBAR has been making some significant moves. At the 52 spot still, but it's at 26 cents, up about 14.16%, up about 16.75% on the 7-day. I do think that this is going to move significantly very soon. You know, this move that it's doing really isn't much, but we could tell from current levels, even if we come look over at the chart, that we have broken out of a great spot. I said it today on my video with HBAR and also XRP that once we clear this 25.7 zone, we're basically back over this major resistance level back here in the beginning of June, but we are back in the overall price chart or price zone of pre-drop pretty much areas, right? Which is great. I even said it on my Twitter, right? I said, listen guys, we are zoning in on a major breakout for HBAR, and it's only a matter of time. This is why we are patient, right? I've said it multiple times that we need to be patient in this game. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme overnight. It doesn't happen or anything like that, but you could make significant gains very fast. For an example, just to show you guys, if you bought the dip, which I told you guys that I did, I showed you guys that I did, you guys should have, right? So when we look here, we see that it's up already 93.59% since that drop. And this is great, right? Because everybody had this opportunity. So anybody could have capitalized on this. And even if we look here, we bottomed out, or I should say we topped out at 28.7, almost 28.8 on this chart, which was 113% of a run up of about 15 cents, which is crazy to me. We are moving very fast with HBAR. Again, this is one of those assets that I said you got to keep your eye on, because although when we look over at it, it has 9.3 billion in circulating supply, which a lot of people look at as a bad thing, this thing is doing significant moves. And it is going to continue to do that because as we march further and further on into Q4 of 2021, we already know what lies ahead, right? We know unlimited transactions per second are most likely going to be happening in Q4, and we are going to see more GC members. A lot of people are still worried and concerned about the governance council. Just appreciate and be grateful for who we already have on the council. Like, don't undermine the people behind the team here, right? Because when we talk about, yeah, Amazon or, you know, Microsoft, whatever the case may be, we also have to look at the fact that we have Google, we have IBM, we have FIS, which is incredible. It's an amazing fintech organization. FPOS is doing great things over in Australia. Innovation is happening pretty much all the time. Avery Dennison, a great company. Boeing, again, you guys already know with the aerospace stuff, Boeing is doing great as well. Chainlink Labs, I know a lot of people think that Chainlink Labs, oh, the partnership doesn't mean nothing. The price, you know, appreciation wasn't even there for the Chainlink Labs. It doesn't matter about price, right? For an example, tomorrow HBAR could announce Amazon, and the price doesn't need to skyrocket, doesn't need to move. But the fact is that guess what? they're still going to do incredible things together. So even if we do get a GC member and the GC member doesn't move the price, just appreciate the fact that we do have them on the GC. Also, we're talking about LG here, Deutsche Telekom. We talk about DLA Piper. I've talked about multiple companies on here, EDF, Tata Communications. A lot of these are doing great things. We do see multiple banks. I've already talked about this multiple times, but we are going to unlock a ton of value as we move forward in time. There's a lot of things to look at. We are still moving up in transactions. We hit 1.5 billion transactions just this year alone. Transactions are still there, right? We're still ramping up transactions on the daily. Still doing about 3.2 million a day. Absolutely crazy to see. And I think that this is only the beginning, especially when we talk about the fact that as we move forward, unlimited transactions per second are going to be happening. Now, a few things to me to really look at is just the rejection at this point, right? Because, yeah, sure, it is very exciting to see it back in this state. I want to hold above it. But our next key resistance point, and I'm just going to be completely honest with you guys, is this 27-cent zone. I know that we broke above it, but 27.6 is the next point to break. Then, once we break this, and once we break above 28, or I should say it's actually a little bit lower. It's actually right about here. So 28 about 4. So we'll just say 28.5 cents. We could pretty much target 30 cents plus. Now, again, these are just sort of short-term targets. Like, these are short-term resistance points. Yeah, sure, there's still resistance for us. But overall, the vision behind HBAR is that we still go higher. I'm still looking forward to seeing a pullback on Bitcoin. I'm going to use the Coinbase chart because it's more accurate. So in terms of Bitcoin, we are testing a major support. For an example, we are still supported on this line here. We keep going up and breaking at 48K. 48K has been showing key significant weakness. So until we get over 48K, which again, even going back, right? So let's move this rectangle up a little bit. 1 second. So let's move this up here, and you can kind of see the clear picture here, right? So even on 48K, which I'll come down onto this zone here, we could see back here that it had a hard time to break that for nearly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days. On the 5th day, it finally broke out of it. So I do think that this week that is coming up for Bitcoin is going to be very great. Obviously, tomorrow we could have a slight pullback. I wouldn't be too concerned about it. I don't think that it's going to be a significant one. Honestly, I've been calling for a retest of the 100-day MA down at 38.5K. I still think that it's possible, but I just don't know if it's going to happen yet because obviously with Bitcoin, it has showed quite good strength overall. And even when we talk about the overall breaking of the 200-day MA, we know from past moves that it's been above the 200-day MA for a while, even going back originally to 2020, we only broke below the 200-day MA on the March drop. And if you guys were here during the March drop, yes, it was significant. And every single time that we broke below it, we ended up reclaiming it, as we see here. So as we ride this up, I do think that we've already dropped significantly below the 200-day MA. We have regained it, and I hopefully think that we are going to stay above it. Now, that's, just kind of hoping that we stay above it overall, but we could be seeing a major pullback tomorrow. Wouldn't be too bad. I mean, realistically, if we have a 25% pullback from our current level, which is practically sitting on support, so this support zone is pretty much make or break for us, especially considering the fact that we keep breaking off of 48K. So say for so we come down 25%, which I don't think is logical and I don't think is realistic, but it is very possible. It would be about 35K or a little bit below 35K. So I don't know if I would welcome this too much, but a 25% drop on Bitcoin is enough to scare a lot of people out, but we would still be above our macro level of this move upward. So the next move from here would basically be a major breaking point of 50K. But I'm not betting on this at all. And the reason why I say that is because when we look at this level that we're currently in, we fought it back here before finally breaking above it. Now, we obviously see that when we pulled back to it, we also broke down below it in February. So it's hard for me to really grasp the idea of a 25% drop on Bitcoin just yet. I'm more so betting on the idea of maybe a 13% drop, which again, at 13%, it wouldn't be too rough. It would be about a pullback to 40K from our current level. I think that that's more logical on the short-term end. But that's just me personally. Now, again, going back to HBAR, talking about those support resistance zones. So these were all support zones, and even going back here, you can kind of see how we bounced off of them, reclaimed them. We reclaimed this zone multiple times here, even, going back to May. So for anybody who is new and they want to read support zones, resistance zones, because as you guys know, I like to sell resistance and buy support. Most likely, so this Binance is very weird with how they show the chart. Like, for an example, I don't even think that we went as high as 28.6. But if we do come over to Bittrex, for an example, we can kind of see that so this is actually more accurate, so 27.7. So realistically speaking, if I wanted to sell HBAR and I wanted to rebuy and short it, right? So I would watch for a clear break above this level or a clear rejection. So if it got rejected from 27.8, I would sell, wait for it to bottom down as support. Looks like this is a clear support zone now that we pretty much gained, which is great to see at 26 cents. Could go a little bit lower realistically, but that is pretty much how you would read it by going off of past prices. Now, obviously, shorting is never a good idea if you are new to crypto. So if you guys are new and you guys are beginners to this, I would not recommend shorting at all, especially something like HBAR. Like me personally, I'm not selling HBAR anywhere near these levels. As you guys know, I'm very transparent with you guys. I was accumulating up here at 30 cents. I accumulated heavy below 20 cents all the way down to this 13-cent zone. So this entire area here was all buying for me because it was just very easy to accumulate those prices. It was pretty much there was no reason not to. It was a low risk, high reward factor in my opinion. Now talking about governing council members, we will obviously see new ones. The whole idea that Man said that, yeah, sure, we'll see a governing council member every single month. If we don't, then we'll have two. That's just not logical in my opinion. I don't know if they were trying to sell it more or market it more, but it's just not realistic in my opinion. I'm not expecting a GC member every single month, and if we skip 1 month, I'm not expecting two the next month or anything like that. And the fact that we haven't seen a new GC member in 3 months doesn't really concern me at all. The only thing that concerns me is live projects from the current governing council members. Because right now, all of these look great, right? Google, IBM, LG, all these look great. But the only thing that makes them great is the fact that, one, they have a live project on the actual mainnet, or two, they are utilizing HBAR in some sort of way. Same goes for use cases, right? We can go to, for example, payments, right? When we look at these payment settlements and all this kind of stuff, it's great when you read it and all that stuff. Now, when we look at all of these companies, for an example, we already know FTPOS is using them, Dovu's using them. Power Transition is also a great company that's, working on carbon neutral energy, which I thought was great to see as well. Taskbar is already using them. That's what I want to see, right? I want to see utilization already happening. I don't care if, Google's on the governing council member or is a governing council member, I should say, or not, unless they are actually utilizing HBAR. So with that being said, I do think that we are on a clear rise with HBAR, and I do think that if Bitcoin can maintain these levels, like I think that it's going to, but anything is possible. Like I said, I try to draw out as many possibilities as possible. Just know that any sort of pullback on Bitcoin, we could retest the 100-day or even the 50-day MA, which would be about 38.5 and also about 37K. That is totally fine. I do think that if we retest about 35K, which I've seen on Twitter people saying that we could, I just don't think that that's logical. I think that we lose a lot of technical support zones at that point. But anything is possible in this market, as you guys already know. Dead cat bounce that a lot of people are calling for. I seen Crypto Whale being a little bit bearish on Bitcoins, showing the 2017, 2018 bull run stuff. Honestly, I think that we are just marching into a massive bull run. I do think that Bitcoin will most likely maintain these levels. It might have a strong pullback tomorrow. Most likely that's where we will see the actual volatile price action happening. Hopefully HBAR, like I said, could get a little bit higher before that does occur. Maybe we could retest 30 cents. That would be absolutely incredible to see before we do get that major pullback, because then, say for so Bitcoin does pull back, I don't know, we'll just say 20%. We know that HBAR will most likely pull back a little bit heavier depending on how high dominance is, but we'll just say from earlier today, I think it was at 45%. So technically speaking, we'll double that. We'll go down about, maybe 20%. So we'll come back down and retest about 24 cents. That wouldn't be too bad of a pullback, in my opinion, before we go much higher, because Bitcoin will then start to climb again, bringing most altcoins with it in a slow factor. But still, at the end of the month into September, I think we are going to see a great overall run for most altcoins, especially Bitcoin as well. So with that being said, I know this was a little bit longer of a video, but anyways, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on if you guys do want more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. I hope that you all have a beautiful day or a beautiful night wherever you guys are in this beautiful world. This has been Nick. Peace out, guys.